So I'm sitting here on the floor of my office. It's past midnight, and of course that means we're gonna talk about books. Yes. Hello everyone, I'm Rosa, welcome. So, it's almost a new month. We're almost through February, which, by the way, is a little bit freaky. Like, where did the month go? I feel like time is just flying. Can it just slow down? I need more days so that I can read more books. It's important. Just calm down, slow down. Thank you. That means a new TBR list, and I have, oh gosh, how many? 12 books to talk about in today's video. As per usual, my TBRs are kind of like, if I don't feel like reading a certain book that month anyway, I will prepare a list, but I won't necessarily follow it. Let's call it more as like inspiration for my reading throughout the month. Although certain books I am definitely going to read because some of them are chosen by my book club members. So certain books I am going to read for sure. I will tell you which ones those are, but some of the other ones I might actually swap out throughout the month, but we'll see. So I think we should get started. I think we should start with the book club picks. By the way, if I'm looking down here, it's because my stack of books is like literally right here. Just so you know. Anyway, first book that I want to talk about today is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is, I think I've heard people call it a trilogy, but I'm pretty sure there are 4 books, so I don't know what happened. But it's a very popular contemporary mystery series. There's something about a school. Is it dark academia in that way? I'm not really sure. Probably not. But the dean of the school, his wife, and I believe his daughter went missing in the past. And in our present, there's a new girl at the school who gets an eye on this mystery and kind of takes it upon herself to solve it. The only hint that there was left of the mother and also the daughter is that it was signed Truly Devious. So I believe that is essentially what the first one is about. I'm a little bit nervous going into this one, not gonna lie. Not because I don't think I'm gonna enjoy it. I think this will be a good time, but because I can't find the sequel for the life of me, and I'm gonna have a very hard time being unable to find the sequel if I really want to read it. So that's a whole thing. But I'm super excited for this. This was chosen as the primary pick for my book club. If you want to join, there's a link to it in the description box down below, but also in the pinned comment. We're reading Truly Devious. I'm gonna cover this in a spoilery vlog. It's gonna be fun. I feel like this is gonna be fun. My book club's secondary pick for March is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. I think the sequel to this one is coming out sometime soon, actually, maybe in May. This is young adult fantasy and also magic. We follow our lead girl here who lives in a world, a society, where when girls reach a certain age, they have to go through a ritual to see if their blood runs red or if it runs gold. And if it runs red, they're fine, they're good to go, but if it runs gold, they're taken off to this other place where it turns out that they're actually gathering this sort of like a mini army, if you will. And this mini army has to battle the Empire's greatest threats. So I believe there's also something about like not necessarily superpowers, but like magical powers and stuff, and it sounds like a good time. I've heard many good things about this, like so many good things. My patrons were very nice on me this month, so I am going to be having a good time, an awesome time, an amazing time, and I'm looking forward to it so much. Next up is another one that I actually also put on Patreon, because sometimes I ask for help to choose my TBRs. I almost call them PTRs. I don't know what that is. But my TBRs. So I put up 3 books that I've gotten through Owlcrate and had them choose which one I am to read here in March, and they chose The Ivory Key by Akshaya Raman. And this is, as you can see, an exclusive edition. It's from Owlcrate. It's super cool. I like it a lot. It is also a very new release. It was released literally in January, so I'm very excited for that, and I've heard many good things about it. It's young adult fantasy. We follow a group of siblings. One of them is to be queen, but to become queen, she has to find the Ivory Key. So she gets in contact with her estranged siblings because they need to help her find this key, and all of them also have like something to gain from finding this key as well. So what I'm expecting from this is sibling banter, I'm expecting drama, I'm expecting fights probably, and it looks like there's also going to be a little bit of a slow burn romance, so that is cool. And mostly what I'm excited for is for a story to be set in a place that I don't actually read a lot of books inspired by, and I believe that is like, this is an Indian inspired world, so that is very, very exciting to me. I'm looking forward to that one quite a lot. If you want to see what this looks like under the dust jacket, here she is. She's gorgeous, beautiful. And yes, she does have art on the inside of the dust jacket as well. But we're mainly talking about synopses today, so. Next up is a book that I don't actually really know much about, but I also have chosen to not really know much about it. And that is Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin My issues with pronouncing names. I don't know how to pronounce this. If anybody can help me, please. But Tamsin Moirer? I don't really know. Anyway, all I know about this book is that it's adult, it's science fiction. We follow lesbian necromancers in space, and they're going to like a haunted, almost, I want to say palace, but I don't think it's a palace. A haunted, not castle either. There's a lot of skulls involved. And that's basically it. But I heard that this is a wild ride, and I am looking forward to it so much. So don't really want to know more than that, because I just want to be surprised. So I've chosen deliberately not to like into the synopsis too much for this one, but I'm excited for it. So excited. And next up is one that I don't think should be a surprise. I got this one a little bit late, so like so many other people have already read it. It's a whole thing, but I'm so excited for it regardless. And that is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. Listen, House of Earth and Blood was everything. I thought I wouldn't have this in my hands for like another month. I'm not gonna lie. But here we are. So I am so excited. Obviously this is a sequel, so I can't really summarize it, but as for the first one, if you're unaware, I don't actually know how much that's going to be connected to this one, to be honest. Maybe we meet some of the characters from the first one in it. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it, to be honest. I just knew that I wanted to read it. But we follow Bryce Quinlan, who is, she's a half-fae. It's in a very urban setting, but it's very interesting because you can any creature, any fantasy creature that you can think of probably lives in this city. It's split up into different houses as well. So we have House of Sky and Breath, for example, which I believe has something to do with the angels. House of Earth and Blood has both humans, but I believe also fae, and I believe also werewolves, or at least like shifter wolves-ish. I don't exactly remember how it's split up, but it's something like that. There's also vampires, other creatures. It's a lot of fun. So every fantasy creature that you can think of probably is in these books. But we follow Bryce. She has a group of friends who one day actually end up being murdered. And Bryce is kind of thrown into the investigation of these murders because a year after they happen, murders start happening again, despite the murderer, the one they thought at least murdered her friends, being in prison. So she's kind of thrown into it to figure out who did it. And I believe that this will have nothing to do with that, but probably some reoccurring characters and stuff. I am so excited. Sarah J. Maas's writing just vibes with me on a whole different level. I cannot explain it. It's a thing. So I'm just really excited for this. So yeah, plus I feel like the further into her series you get, the better the books get to. At least the first books are always a little bit... The first books have never been the best, so I may have high expectations for this one. I'm only thinking like Akotar was definitely not better than Akomath, and Throne of Glass is definitely not better than Queen of Shadows either. Queen of Shadows is the fourth one. I mean Crown of Midnight. Anyway, still, first books have never been like the strongest in her series, so I am very excited for this. I feel like it's gonna be less world building and more plot, which is great because like we have there's a lot. It's a whole lot. And then we got another one that's kind of also in a series, but it's a spin-off, and that is A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So this is a spin-off of her From Blood and Ash series. I think the fourth one, The War of Two Queens, is actually coming out. Is it in March? I'm not getting my copy until May because I got the hardback, so that's a whole thing. There's a whole thing going on, but that just means I have extra time to get through this one. I loved From Blood and Ash 1, 2, and 3. Although 1 and 2 were better than 3. And I know that you're supposed to read this one before going into A War of Two Queens. I suspect that might be because of the plots are going to be a little bit intertwined, if you will. But don't fully know what this is about. However, I know that we follow a god, a primal. It's a little bit hard to explain. And I believe there's also another maiden. If you've read From Blood and Ash, in that one you follow Poppy, who is a maiden, which means that she's like super protected. She's not supposed to experience any kind of pleasure whatsoever. She's not supposed to have any kind of fun. She's not supposed to talk to people. I'm pretty sure there's another maiden in this one. Yeah, Serafina. So we follow those two characters. But other than that, again, I don't actually want to know. But also, I don't think I could summarize this without ruining something from Blood and Ash, so I'm not going to do that just in case you haven't read From Blood and Ash, but I'm excited, and I will be talking about this one in my reading wrap-up. Spoiler free, of course. I'm gonna do my best. Another sequel that I'm also reading this month, I'm really trying to be better at reading series if you haven't noticed, but anyway, is Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski, and this is not the sequel in the Witcher series, but the second set of short stories before you jump into the actual series. I have no idea what these short stories are about. I'm guessing one of them has something to do with Sword of Destiny. It's probably going to be connected to some of the stories that happened in the first one, The Last Wish, but I don't actually know. I don't know. If you haven't read The Last Wish though, if you don't know anything about the Witcher series, I refuse to believe that none of you do, or I refuse to believe that there's a person out there watching this video who hasn't heard of The Witcher, since it's now also on Netflix. But we follow a Witcher, his name is Geralt, of Rivia, the White Wolf. And a Witcher is, it's actually not fully explained in The Last Wish, but it's like, he's like a monster hunter, but he's also half a monster himself. It's a little bit hard to explain. He's not full-on monster, he's just born human, I think, but then has gone through some experiments, has taken some, I don't want to call them drugs, but like I don't know what else to call them. Potions and stuff to become a witcher. He's a mutant, if you will. I wish you'd give me a term so that I could actually properly explain what Geralt is. I know the process, I just don't know how to put it into words. Anyway, and he's basically just, in the first one, traveling around, in The Last Wish, traveling around this world that he lives in and comes across some interesting characters and some interesting quests and stuff. So I've been reading, no, not reading. I've been playing The Witcher 3 so much lately, so I think it's time that I get further into the series of the books, because I haven't even gotten to the Wild Hunt parts yet. Like, and it's literally called The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt. I'm like, who is it? I need to know. I'm literally just playing a game without knowing anything of the backstory other than who Geralt is. That's all I know. Yes, it's a good time regardless. It's a very lovely game. Can highly recommend. Next up, we have some new adult. Oh, I completely forgot to say. I just realized I've completely forgotten to say genres. I'm reading a lot of new adult and adult this month, apparently, just so you know. But if you're worried about genres, they're always written in the description along with links to all the books on both Amazon and Book Depository. So sorry for forgetting them, but they are listed in the description if you're curious. However, the next ones are The Bridge Queen and also The Traitor Queen. Did I say The Bridge Queen? What? Did I say that? The Bridge Kingdom! And also The Traitor Queen by Daniel L. Jensen. These are new adult fantasy romance, and I don't actually know what this one is about, so let's put her away. But in The Bridge Kingdom, we follow Lana, or Lara, close enough, who is a princess of her kingdom, and she has been trained throughout her life. She's basically like kind of assassin-y, if you will. Her life goal is essentially, like, she's been trained for this moment. She's going to marry this dude right here, whose name is Aaron, I think. Yes, Aaron. And he is the prince of the Bridge Kingdom, which is essentially this kingdom in between two worlds. And because they're in between two, or not worlds, but countries, kingdoms, because it's in between these two kingdoms, they kind of have like, it's a very advantageous position to be in because they control some shop, that's not what it's called. They have trading privileges, if you will. They control the bridge, yes. So her mission, her whole life mission has been to marry Aaron so that she can kill him and take over his kingdom. So what I'm expecting from this is kind of steamy enemies to lovers, very much. I'm expecting twists and turns, and I'm expecting to have a good time. Lara sounds like a badass female character, and I am all about badassery, so I hope I'll have a good time. And this was actually also one of the 12 books that were recommended for me to read throughout 2022, so thank you to Kim for suggesting this one. I'll read her now, finally. Then I also have a book that I don't have as a physical copy, but that I'll be reading on my Kindle, which is The Match by Sarah Adams. It's an adult contemporary romance where I believe we follow our lead girl who, as far as I remember, without actually looking up the synopsis, again. We follow our lead girl whose job is to match service dogs with their new owners. And one day this handsome guy comes into her job and needs a service dog for his daughter. And our lead girl is kind of like, I don't really like him, but he looks kind of cute. And that's what it's about. This was also one of the books that were recommended to me by you as one of the 12 books that I have to read throughout 2022. So I'm expecting good things. I thought the synopsis sounded super cute. There's more to it than I'm just saying right now, but honestly, I like vague synopses as well. I like kind of not knowing too many details about the story before going in, and the whole service dogs and the kind of we don't really get along vibe. That's for me. Thank you. I need that. So I'm looking forward to it quite a lot. And as you can tell, enemies to lovers, we kind of have almost like an enemies to lovers situation, or at least like unfriendly to possibly lovers in the match. But next up, we have more enemies to lovers. It's just my vibe. It is my vibe. I will say for these ones, I'm not really fully certain on the synopsis, and I have purposely chosen not to really fully know the synopsis as well. But the last duology that I want to read for March is We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal. I know that these are... Hold on a sec. Just gonna put her away because she's a little bit on the thicker side. So I know that these are young adult. They are fantasy, romance, enemies to lovers. I know that there's something about a girl who is dressed up as a guy and she's like a hunter who has to kill the prince, I think. Something about war in this world too. And I also know that this one is a little bit on the slower side compared to this one. A lot of people said that they preferred this one over this, so I am aware of that. I will go into it fully aware of that. But I'm looking forward to this so much. And what caused me to actually decide to put this on my TBR is that Illumicrate are doing special editions of them. I'll put put a picture up here of what they look like. They look so beautiful. I want them so badly. So I'm like, I need to know if I actually like the story, because otherwise that's just gonna be awkward. You can't buy special editions of books that you don't actually like. So here we go. I mean, you can, but I already ordered the Atlas 6 and I've not read the Atlas 6, so I need to make sure that I don't do that too much. So I'm gonna read these two before I make any decisions on the special editions, and I am gonna have an amazing time. Yes. But I think that's it. Was that 12 books? Yes, 12 books. I've managed to read, I think 13 throughout February, so 12 books is actually not fully unrealistic. So maybe I'll be adding some to my list throughout the month. Maybe I'll just stick to these. We will see. If you've read any of them, definitely let me know what you thought. And if there's anything you're reading throughout March, also let me know in the comments. Again, if you want links to any of the books, you can find them in the description box down below, along with also genres and titles and author names and everything. But that is all I got for you today, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and also if you're new to the channel and you want to hang out and nerd out about books with me and everyone in the comments, consider hitting the subscribe button as well. But that is all I got for you today, so I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!